Hi, I'm Easy Rider, host of Toku Time. Now, I review a lot of tokusatsu, but I rarely get to talk about what's going on in Toku today. You ever wondered if I just stopped the whole review thing for a while and talked about Toku, games, toys, or whatever's on my mind at the moment? You don't have to, so prepare yourself to hear my innermost thoughts and watch me make an ass of myself. That was not a nap. I'm doing the Jerry Lewis thing. All in 1 month or nothing at all. February rolls around, Megaforce shows up. I'll be right here. That little TV over there, that little box TV, I'm going to watch it on there because I believe that all this HD crap that Megaforce, or Power Rangers I should say, can only be enjoyed on an old box TV. You can keep your HD widescreen hunky-dory crap, but I'm going old school. Speaking of Megaforce, I took the liberty of getting a toy. They had the morpher, they had the blaster, but you know me and guns. I like to enforce my Second Amendment rights, even with plastic firearms. Yeah, this ain't a toy review though. Now, if you watch me long enough, you know I don't do toy reviews since episode 1 of this show. Now, if you want to see a real toy review, go to that link. I thank you and he thanks you. Can you put a link up there, please? Alright. Okay, anyway, Power Rangers Blaster. Power Ranger Blaster. A lot of thought went into that name. Power Ranger Blaster. I guess they couldn't call it the Mega Blaster or anything. Mega. Why is Mega anything? Is it 1994? Because I'm going back to the Mega Drive days of the Sega Genesis. Everyone said Mega Drive, it's Mega Drive. It's like, look at that speed. It's like hyper speed. Anyway, well, what do you say? Should we crack her open and have a look-see? Yeah, I think we should do that. Yep, yeah. Oh, look at that. Also available. Ooh, they got a little card set. Well, you can't see it very well, but on the side they got a little tabletop game. I guess you can play Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Duel Masters, or whatever the hell the young kids are playing these days, with Ranger cards. Pop this sucker open. I ain't keeping the box, so let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Oh. You know, these tags piss me off. I know they gotta put them in for display purposes, but you are now online. It's kind of tiny. Kind of almost looks like a Derringer. Ooh, I like the sound effects. The sound effects are very kick-ass. And this is my first time opening this. I'm experiencing this with you guys. Yeah, this wasn't pre-planned or anything. I just ripped this sucker open for Rider Ramblings. That's how awesome I am for you guys. But, yeah, you can also expect this in my Go Save the Review, probably next month, because I'm not going to have it in time because I'm working on my Z Ranger review. But anyway. I don't know if I'll work this into the show or not, but this thing's awesome. Let's see. We got the dragon header there. I guess it's either the Red Ranger's head or nothing at all. I mean, I know he's the leader and everything, but what if I want a shark or a tiger or a snake or a phoenix or something like that? I don't know. So pop this sucker on, get it on there, and oh, I get it. It's kind of like the old Revolver days, you know. Ooh, I'm gonna hog tie that varmint. Yes, put this on there. Oh, what else we got here? This treasure trove of a toy. Yeah, he's stretching this. Wait, oh, English side ruined. Have to use French side. Les gun? What the hell is that? I guess supposed to be like a holster or something. I guess what that little hook's... Sorry. I guess that's what this little hook's for. You just clasp it on, and you can shoot from the hip. Ah, womp, womp, womp. Okay, to be fair, can anyone tell me which Ranger guns actually came with a holster? I think it was the in-space guns came with ones like this. And so, I don't know. But they got holsters, and let's just get this thing. Well, either way, it looked great in a display case, I guess. We got this dangling here. You are getting sleepy. You will find Go Sager interesting. Woo! Ah, funny. Overall, it's not bad. Oh, look at that! So that's how you make the head fly off. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Let's try that again. 1, 2, 5. 3, sir. 3. That's it? That sucked. When I was a kid, these things got a lot farther. Maybe I guess got a faulty one or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe the spring-loaded power isn't that good like it is on other weapons. But, what do I know? And think about it. This is a series from a long time that actually has guns. Samurai didn't have guns unless you count the bazooka, but even so, that was kind of a stretch. And did you see the size of that thing? I mean, it was like only a teensy little bigger than this thing. And the bazooka is like the size of a rocket launcher. Come on, people. See, parents don't let kids have fun anymore. You know what? Yeah, just forget it. Alright, joke's over. Enough with the toys. Oh, also, I gotta talk about this little beauty. If I can get it loose. There we go. Comes with a card. Comes with a free card. Yep. Dragon Zord. Wait a minute, that's not the Dragon Zord. You have the audacity to call this little pissant thing the Dragon Zord. Really? That's pretty bad. Oh, and it says here in little bitty ellipses or parentheses or something, win. Move this to the bottom of your deck. What kind of card game is this? Just, my God, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds isn't this easy, or this cut and dry. You know what? Yeah. Also, if you haven't picked up one of these yet or didn't notice or anything, I love how they've got an app on here. We'll try and get that on a close-up. Can we get a close-up on that as best we can? Yeah. You want to play a crappy Power Rangers card game? There's an app for that. So, if the toys are any indication, Megaforce should be average to okay. But again, I've seen the... have you seen the trailers for Megaforce yet? I did, and to be fair, they're actually kind of chilling. I'm not joking here. Actually, can we get one queued up? You guys watch this teaser, and I'm going to get rid of all this clutter. Well, what'd you think of that, huh? Pretty chilling, huh? I mean, you don't even see Gosei, but you hear that booming voice. That's actually Jeff Dolan, who has done voices in past Power Rangers series. He was actually Korak from Mystic Force. He was also the Magnificence from SPD, aka Omnis, aka the big mofo with the giant staff that Grum and Doggy Kruger had their final battle in. I thought that was one of the good things about SPD, and Lord knows there are only few of those, but let's not get into that. But anyway, the thing that everyone has been either bitching about on YouTube or been complaining about is the morphin call, because there's 2 trailers, and I guess you can go watch that one if you want. We'll put a link there. There's actually 2 morphin calls. It's Morphin Time, an oldie but a goodie, I would love to hear it again, and Go Go Megaforce, which is the rehashed morphin call from Samurai, which I think is kind of stupid if they carried that over. My guess is what they're going to do is they're going to pull out their Tinsoders or Gosei Morphers or whatever the hell they're calling them. What they're going to do is they're going to pull the mouth open. I don't think it's going to make the gotcha sound, and if it does, I will be shocked. Basically, they're going to go, it's morphin time, pull out the card, stick it in, Go Go Samurai, click, transformed. Now, I'm partly okay with this, and part of me might find a little eye-rolling, but this is all just speculation. This is not true. It may be, it may not be. We'll burn that bridge when we get there, or when we come to it, so chill. If you comment on YouTube a lot, stay off the Power Rangers Megaforce trailers for your own good. I care about you, Toku faithful. Even the Decade and Forze fans. I care about you. Alright now, Toku faithful, it's time for the one you've been bugging, begging me, and even pleading with me to talk about for a while. And after my buddy The Shades and I did this on Toku Riffs, I promised you a ride of rambling about it, so here it is. I'm talking about the one, the only Super Hero Taisen. Or as I like to call it, what's the point of doing team-ups anymore when you've just done the big one people have been waiting for like 30 years? You know, the writers in the Sentai have always had the bickering problem about which one sells more toys, because when you get right down to it, it's just a contest, a measuring contest on which one has the more toys to sell. And in this one, no toys are available. I'm serious. They only have like a couple little things that they can make toys out of, and they don't do it. I've thought of a lot of things they could make toys out of in here. You got cards, you got keys, you got medals, you've got giant robots, and they don't do anything with them. I mean, okay, there's a few new switches that make a giant robot. Most of you know what I'm talking about, but my thing here is that, think about this. Okay, Gokaiger mixed with Kamen Rider O's. Think of the possibilities here. I know they got the keys, that the medals are turned into keys here, but what we could have had was a giant Kamen Rider O's mech, part hawk, part lion, part grasshopper. A giant O's mech, I think, would have been way more awesome than what we got. And if you know what I'm talking about, yeah, it's kind of stupid. But anyway, again, I'm getting off topic here. I'm getting off the topic here. I'm just thinking of all the toys that Toei could have passed, that Toei made, and they passed up on just for a cheesy team-up movie that really doesn't change anything. Okay. Getting to the plot. Gokai Red from Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger goes on a killing spree, namely with Kamen Riders. He butchers riders from here to Bombay, and Kamen Rider Decade goes in to solve the problem by going on a Sentai killing spree. Yeah, that seems a logical thing to do in this situation. It's like, well, you're killing off all my buddies, I'm going to kill off all your buddies. Seems logical. And so these two are starting a giant war for no real inexplainable reason, and it's up to a handful of supporting characters to find out what caused this great war. And I am really serious here. Supporting characters are the main characters in this movie. They get the most screen time, they get the most involvement. I'm not making this up. Yeah, this movie was the brainchild of Toei. So I guess after all these years, they just decided, screw it, let's put them all together in one movie. And if you're expecting a ton of cameos and fan service, well, you're going to have to keep waiting, because there ain't nothing but diddly squat in this movie. This movie's actually been divided among fans. Some people have called it an awesome action movie. Some people have called it a big letdown, a huge bait and switch over the plot, but I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it yet. So why don't I do the Henshin Round-Up while we're here, while you get your copy of Super Hero Taisen ready to play. We've got 177 Sentai, 40 riders, 44 transformations, 13 fight scenes, 2 giant monsters, 1 mega huge fight scene including everyone, 1 giant oversized mech, phone swiping, card stealing, drum throwing, backstabbing both metaphorically and physically, Sentai slaying, rider wrecking, pudding fighting, and no, I'm not talking about the ones with women, high school wrecking, city invasion, giant crushing, gratuitous spandex-clad heroes, gratuitous purple CGI death scenes, gratuitous Gokai Red vs. Decade battles, gratuitous flashbacks, gratuitous super speed fighting, gratuitous teleportation, gratuitous form changing, gratuitous time travel, gratuitous pointless cameos, gratuitous Denliner plot device, Kung Fu, Card Fu, Key Fu, Metal Fu, Gun Sword Fu, Gun Fu, Sword Fu, Spaceship Laser Fu, and of course, Satellite Fu. C+ movie, check it out, and I'll be right here with you when you're done. So, roll the flick. Super Hero Taisen. You know, I can actually imagine how the producers at Toei came up with this team up. They were all sitting in their offices, getting drunk off their asses on sake, and one of them just pulls out like, whoa, we have the Sentai and the Riders fighting each other for some reason, and then we have this chick from O's and these Gokaigers that are secondary characters, and this other guy who's also a rider from Decade, not Decade though, he's got to be busy fighting Gokai Red, and they try to figure out what caused it, and we'll spend the whole movie about them, and we'll barely focus on the riders or the Sentai at all. And, of course, they were recording this the whole time, so why the hell not? They greenlit it. Thank you very much, Toei. You've pissed off the Toku community from here to Japan. I hope you're proud of yourself. Oh, what am I saying? Of course they're proud of themselves. It was #1 at the box office. It made money. Whether it sucked or rocked, they made money, so what do they care? Okay, there you have it. Super Hero Taisen. I guess we're just going to ignore this whole war and go back to normal. Despite riders and Sentai trying to kill each other, it was all just a big ruse. We had it in all along. I mean, it's no coincidence that everyone died a purple, big, shadowy purple death. I mean, no one thought that was a little weird. I mean, usually when you kill someone like that, they just explode. They don't turn purple, then explode. They don't become the giant purple people here, then blow up into a million pieces. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of controversy going around this movie. Not criminally controversial stuff like that. More like fan debate stuff. There's a lot of things like they love to point out. Mostly it involves Kaito, aka Kamen Rider Gien's heel turn. I've already spoken my piece about it. Kaito is one of my favorite riders, and a lot of people have called this character assassination because he pulls a complete 180 and turns heel. But anyway, the thing I hear of his is he's been Tsukasa's friend this whole time. He's done favors for him. He saved his girlfriend. He saved his life in All Riders. Don't believe me? Go watch All Riders. Gien does all the work in that movie. So then Tsukasa pulls this crap. Kaito's like, alright, I've had enough. I've been your friend for this long. You haven't done jack squat for me, so I'm going to kick your ass with a giant robot. You take the robot too. Don't lie. Don't lie. You would take a giant robot if you could get one. Evil or good, you would fucking take that robot. Pardon my French. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, another big debate about this movie is a lot of people are saying, speaking of Kaito's heel turn, the big mech, the one with the Crisis Battleship and the Gigantorse, the Zangiak flagship, fusing together to become the Uber mech that Kaito pilots. Okay, that I can buy. I can buy that. I'm okay with that. I guess we're just going to forget about those 80 ships that were following it on the way to Earth while Forza and the others gawked on it at the moon. Anyone remember that? There were 80 ships, at least 80 plus ships following the Gigantorse on the way to Earth for Marvelous to kill all the riders. Oh, excuse me, make it look like he killed all the riders. Where did all those ships go? Did we just forget about them? You know, they could have still conquered the Earth. I guess when Marvelous did away with Wars Giru, he's like, take all those ships with you as your severance package, or I don't need those anyway. You know, I didn't see them get destroyed, did you? Big plot hole. Really big plot hole that I didn't even think of till now. Hand to God, I didn't even think of it till now. Tell me I'm wrong. Also, another throwaway gag they used was Black and Shadow Moon actually had a fight. And Black is one of my favorite Toku shows. And there's a throwaway gag that Shadow Nobuhiko, aka Shadow Moon, may still be saved. And I don't want to give too much away about Black, but he kind of is saved in his own way. But there's a little tiny bit of self-referential humor that I found funny here. And one of the big other plot holes in this movie, where were Forza and the Go Busters this whole time? We see them in the opening. Marvelous attacks Forza. Tsukasa kicks around the Go Busters, or they kick each other's ass, I should say. And by the way, Red Buster Super Speed versus Kabuto's Clock Up that Decade uses? No, not in a million years. No way could he keep up with Clock Up. Just saying. Where were they this whole movie? Were they just having Gatorade off screen during this whole Joe and Hina and Doc and Kaito trying to figure out what's wrong? I mean, I'm glad they spared me 90 minutes of Gentaro trying to be friends with everyone. I can give them that. But what about the Go Busters? You'd think, you know what? I don't care. They probably would have been killed off anyway, and that would have pissed off more fans. So maybe we dodged a bullet. But the one that's they've turned some memes out of this movie. Probably the biggest one, and warning Decade fans, kind of Decade nitpicking coming up here, but probably the biggest one of all, I have to bring this up, is Tsukasa's hair. His dye shocker hair. He has actually all these years we all know Tsukasa's hair can't make up its mind because it's actually alive. I swear to God, it's alive because it keeps changing on us. But anyway, Tsukasa's hair in this movie, oh God, it's been lovingly called to by fans as Granny Tsukasa. I'm not kidding. I swear to God, I did not make that up. Fans in certain circles have taken to calling Tsukasa in Super Hero Taisen Granny Tsukasa. I mean, look at this guy. Look at him. It's like he snatched a wig off of B. Arthur in her young days. Come on. I mean, look at him. I just have the temptation to say, I'm just a passing through common rider, dearie. Remember that. Come on. Come on. I'm not bashing on Decade here. I'm not a fan of Decade, don't get me wrong, but this is Super Hero Taisen bashing right here. I mean, come on. Granny Tsukasa. They're never going to let him live that down. Also, did you notice Naruto teasing a sequel? Well, technically not a sequel, but another Decade movie. We'll have to see what happens there. But I guess they're going to ignore all this happening in that movie. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Not gonna acknowledge it. No. Plus, you gotta love how Naruto in Dr. G's disguise still has to ask Tsukasa who he is just so he can shoehorn in that stupid-ass catchphrase. Just, my God. Enough is enough. Alright, I'm done nitpicking. Well, it's the end of the show. You know what that means. It is once again time for Easy Rider's Wisdom to the Helpless, where I answer your fan mail. And this is actually going to be a first for Rider Ramblings because ever since I gave out my email to the population, I've been getting 4 or 5 emails, like every other day, for Rider Ramblings. No, I'm kidding. I've gotten like 5 apiece. But I did get a couple of them down, and I'm going to answer about 3 or 4 of them if we got time. But anyway, let's see some of those emails you got here. Okay, this one was from, well, I didn't get his email down, but this one's from YouTube username Transfan360. He asks, or they asked, he or she, it asked, sorry. Just a quick question for the next Rider Ramblings. I know you get asked this a lot, sorry for asking you if you've already answered it, but are you familiar with the fact that Kamen Rider Forze was created in response to the tsunami last year, or the year before I should say? They went this route to try and cheer up kids instead of the previous plans for the 40th anniversary show. Personally, I think this gives the show a few points, despite the flaws. Alright, you have a point, Transfan, okay. I can admit this show is very lighthearted, sometimes too lighthearted, but I still stand by most of my points here. What I think they could have done here is, instead of the high school setting, if they really want to, cheer kids up, they could have based the entire series in space. Kind of did what Power Rangers in Space did, and involved aliens and space travel. I mean, actually have a spaceship and, go to different planets. Kind of do a nod to Star Trek, or Firefly, or whatever your science fiction preference is. Kind of do that. That might have actually helped the kids a little more, because I freaking loved that stuff when I was a kid. Star Wars, Star Trek, what have you. That was the thing when I was a kid. Space was actually an unknown back then. Like, so much stuff we didn't know back then. I think that would have worked a little better than high school. But, again, this is all my opinion. You're right. It was better for the kiddies. But, anyway, you have a point. Alright, moving right along. Megabot22@gmail.com asks, have you considered doing a Kamen Rider Kuga or Go-Go 5 review? Alright, well, yes and no, actually. I do know Midnight Crew Subs has subbed the entirety of Kamen Rider Kuga. Also know TV Nihon's doing episodes from time to time, and they do a fantastic job. But also Midnight Crew is actually redoing their Kuga subs, and I kind of want to wait till they get done with that before considering doing Kuga. Don't get me wrong, I love Kuga, it's a great show, but, I kind of want to wait till it's better subbed, I should say. Midnight Crew did alright in their first run, but they're taking precautions to go back and fixing mistakes, and I can respect that. I can respect that a lot. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait a little while and see what happens then, but I will get to Kuga. Go-Go 5? I don't know. There was a sub-site, I can't remember its name, a fan sub-site that was actually subbing Go-Go 5, but for some reason or another they stopped. I think it was because of the mega upload situation, but I don't know, I can't say why. But if someone would like to suggest to me a fan sub-site that has all of Go-Go 5 subbed, or at least a good chunk of it, that they can continue to sub it, let me know. I'm very interested in Go-Go 5. I've only seen a few tidbits of it, about 5 or 6 episodes, give or take, but I'd love to see more. Okay, one more. GCRiderman@yahoo.com asks, I was curious about something. You've gone on record multiple times saying that you don't like Decade, Forze, or Go-Sager because of the bad writing or how boring they are. But aside from those 3, what are some of your least favorite Kamen Rider and Super Sentai series? Okay. Now, let's be fair. Let's be fair on a couple things before I go on. I don't outright hate these shows. I like the idea of Decade. It had some great ideas, but the execution is what pisses me off. Forze has a ton of problems, I'm not going to lie. The characters of Marty Sue, I can't stand him. The characters are boring. Only a few of them really stand out. The villain designs are actually pretty good. It's just the ending. The ending is the cherry on top of that shit sundae that really killed any chance of me liking Forze as a whole. But again, I'm getting off track. And again, Ghost Ager, kind of the same problem. The characters are bland. And the villains are here and there. Again, kind of a boring show. Okay, now that I got that out of the way. Least favorite Kamen Rider and Super Sentai besides those three. If I could say any Kamen Rider series that was boring, I'd probably be remiss if I didn't bring up Hibiki. Now, don't get me wrong. Half of Hibiki is a great show. If you see my review, you know where I'm going with this. The first half of Hibiki is very, very interesting. It's a new take on Riders. It wasn't even a Rider story, actually. It was one of Ishinomori's old stories, as a lot of people have written in and told me because they think I didn't know. But it's the second half that shoots it in the foot. The producers at Toei it's corporate meddling. Toei took over and said, this show isn't cutting the mustard. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to hire a new writing staff. We're going to make Kuga more like other shows in Kamen Rider, the Heisei era. And basically, they ruined it. So, yeah. Part of Hibiki I don't like, but there aren't many other Rider shows that I can really say I hate. It's more like I hate what they become. Same thing with Den-O. Den-O, the first 49 episodes and first 3 movies, fine. That's fine. But then the Cho Den-O series comes along and fracks it all up. Just flat out rapes the franchise. So I can't really say I hate a show. I can hate what shows become, but I can't really say I hate the source material. So that's that. But Super Sentai, again, hard problem. A lot of people have gone on record saying they hated Gal Ranger for some reason. I don't see what's so wrong about that show. I thought it was an interesting series. Agreed, I can't think about it without thinking about Wild Force, but that's beside the point. What was wrong with Gal Ranger? I hear it was panned in Japan. That it wasn't very accepted in Japan. I can't imagine why. I liked it. What do I know? But anyway, other than that, probably Magiranger. Probably because it's lighthearted, but it gets to the point where it gets too lighthearted. I don't downright hate it, but I can take it or leave it. I probably won't watch it again anytime soon, but for people who like magic and fantasy worlds and everything like that, it's perfect for them. But I'm more of a serious Toku fan. I've gone on record saying that before. I don't hate lighthearted Toku. It just varies. Your mileage, as TV tropes like to put it, your mileage may vary. But that's it for me. So it's hard for me to hate other shows. But there may be future Sentai or Kamen Rider shows that I might hate, and we'll come back to this. But that's it for this episode. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. Anyway, if you got a Rider Ramblings question you'd like to be answered, or questions about me or my Fascination Toku, if you got a question you want me to answer, post a comment, or you can hit me up with an email. Here's your shot to manipulate the manual. It's easytokurider@gmail.com, subject Rider Ramblings. Now, do that and keep it in a ballpark figure of one paragraph. Sometimes I get these really long letters that go on a tirade. I don't mind that, but I don't have time to read those on Rider Ramblings. I gotta keep them to at least a paragraph or less. So in future, keep that in mind, please. But that's all for this episode. You guys want to hear a joke? Okay, I've got a couple actually. For Super Hero Taisen, I picked out two, one each involving the main characters. Not the supporting characters. I mean those two. Okay. I'll do the decade one first, just so you can get mad at me. Okay. So Tsukasa gets back home from traveling all the various Rider worlds, and he decides to put up his Deca Driver once and for all, and he decides to go see the world, or travel the world. I guess they started in the first episode or whatever. So he decides to apply to the Navy to see the world. We're off to see the sea to see what we can see. Okay, he's filling out the application, and in the blank mark sex, Tsukasa writes twice a week. And the commanding officer looks over his shoulder and he sees what he's writing, and he says, no, 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 that line's supposed to indicate male or female. And Tsukasa looks up and says, doesn't matter to me. Oh, I am so getting lynched for these jokes. Okay. Alright. I'll make the next one shorter. Okay, Gokai Red gets in the Gokai Galleon, travels the universe, because he's a space pirate and everything. He goes to this intergalactic tavern, kind of like the one on Onyx from Power Rangers in Space. He goes there, he has a few drinks with some other space pirates, not as Gokai buddies, just some other would-be space pirates. And so he gets into a pissing contest with those guys out in the back after having a couple pints or whatever. And here, long story short, Marvelous won because during the pissing contest, his opponents drowned. Yeah, that much piss. Oh. This is Easy Rider, reminding you that the fan sub will never die. Oh, God. Super Hero Taisen. A war over toy selling. Which sells more, keys or cards? That's the eternal struggle between those two. Keys or cards? We may never know.